C.J. Johnson, present.
Jesus Holguin, present.
Martin Rex Kidzior, present.
Robert Verdi, present.
Mike Reynolds, present.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Lilian Roman Rocha, a fifth grade student from Armada Elementary School.
Okay. Put your right hand over your heart and start. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
She would like to do it in Spanish, too.
Prometo de lealtad a la bandera de los Estados Unidos de América y de la república por la cual representa una nación bajo Dios, indivisible, por la libertad y la justicia para todos.
Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you all for being here this evening. Thank you to all the principals, administrators, teachers, and cabinet members and board members. Thank you for being here. Community members, thank you. This is a great, very important meeting this evening. And the first thing we're going to do is we have a section for public comments on agenda items, and we have one speaker. And as always, we have a 3-minute allotment for that. And speaker is Roy Blecker. Mr. Blecker, will you please come to the microphone? And you have 3 minutes.
Local control accountability plan should be what we should be putting this school district together and all schools together. Should be looking at a lot of things. Sometimes I wonder of what happens when we do this, because we've seen a lot of things that have happened in the school district that weren't quite up to snuff. But I've been talking to a lot of business and community leaders. One of them's Cliff Cummings at Toyota San Bernardino. One of the things he said, I have trouble finding technicians that can work on cars, people that can do the paperwork. Russ Bowe Construction, he builds schools, some in this district. He said, biggest thing I have finding is estimators, office personnel, workers with the skills to put things together. Economist Jay Pragg from the Drucker School of Claremont Institute. There's a skills gap. You should be looking at the model of like South Carolina that's building it and partnering with companies like BMW to actually build those skills. TK, great idea. Utilize the classroom 2.5 hours. Why aren't those being used twice a day? Second thing, if they're learning quicker, let's take 2 years off the top. Let's get them out in the workforce. There's a lot of reasons. You should be looking overall at the what we really need. We're going to need skilled workers, and we're going to need them fast. Part of your job is to get them there, and get them there quickly. We have an aging population and a smaller population coming up underneath to fill those jobs and to do those skills, and all of our future depends on it. A lot of what I see going on is not just from and it's just not even particular of this school district. It's in the state of California all the way across. And you need to look at the people and the skills and listen to those that are actually having to deal with what's coming down the pipe, because they have a lot of insights in that. You'd even listen there that you are to get engagement from the parents and the community as part of the LCAP plan. I'd like to know how that works when we're having meetings at 3:30 in the afternoon. If you can't take care of the little things, maybe puts people's doubt of what's happening with the big things. Think about it look to the future, look to what we need, because, again, the kids' future depends on it.
Thank you. Okay, this time we're going to move into the next item, and that's the special study session. And Dr. Katsura, this is your time.
So this is probably some of the best attendance I've ever seen at a study session. We had to bring out more chairs. Look, they're coming in with them right now. Must be because it's at 3:30 in the afternoon. I don't know. But Patricia Gomez, I'm proud to see you here. Thank you for coming. I'm looking around this room. Kelly Vera, I've never seen you at one of these, but must be because it's at 3:30. Yeah, and you're a parent in the community. I love that. So, board, this is a study session for you. We have LCAP meetings that are throughout the school year for our community, but this is a study session for the board to identify and to look at some of the aspects of the LCAP. In your packet up there, I gave you a packet that talks about the role of the board in the LCAP. Mr. Holguin and I are on a professional learning network that we attend at CSBA. And this is something we've worked on this year, but Role 6 is to continuously monitor. It's on page 8. That's what I'm reading from in that. Continuously monitor and evaluate progress of LCAP strategies. So one of the things that is important for you as a board is to understand and to monitor the programs and have ongoing discussions about program outcomes and progress. And then one of the other goal is to promote a long-term view and work towards sustainability of what's in the LCAP. And there's multiple items listed in there, but I hope you'll read that. And it's about your essential responsibilities of the LCAP. Today, Mrs. Maddox couldn't be here, and so I'm going to lead this and conclude it, and then Educational Services is going to help present this. There are a host of speakers. And so I'm going to do slides 1 through 10. And so I want you to, where's Diane? You're flipping through it, okay. So I did that. You can keep going. Okay. So I want to remind everybody that everything that we do is because we want every student to graduate from high school, and we want them to be prepared so they can go to college or have a career. And that's and that not exclusive of each other. That means they can do either or both. And that's something that is in our mission statement. We developed in 2014 and has started with our strategic plan, which is on the wall back there. And you can go to the next one, Diane. Thank you. And then we have 11 commitments that guide us in creating excellence on purpose and help us shine brighter as a school district. And these are some that we go over all the time, and different people have different understandings of them. But one of the big ones is we have to always start with the why. So why are we here? Why are we doing this? And part of this is to expand services and support for students in our district, and that's why we received additional LCAP money. And so part of today is to listen about those programs and hear about what we're doing, because there's a lot of great things happening here. Go to the next one, thank you. And so the school district, we work on this, is we have actually 4 goals. There are 3 listed here, and there's 13 outcomes, but this is to increase achievement of students and performance of students. So the first one is about increasing English language arts and mathematics primarily, and the second one is about graduation and AP and A through G requirements, and the third one is about increasing student attendance and decreasing suspensions and expulsions with different groups. And we evaluate the principals using this, and we give these to our schools so that they can have goals to work on as far as what their responsibilities are. This is our strategic plan, which talks about our priorities, our principles, our processes, and our commitments. And that's on the wall over there posted, but it's the goals and the LCAP are all connected to the strategic plan. They were written at the same time. So what is the LCAP? The Local Control Accountability Plan documents and communicates the district's actions and expenditures to support outcomes and overall performance. So it's a 275-page document, Lisa, and it's on the website, and it documents all of the expenditures that we use in LCAP to support student performance and student outcomes. The LCAP is a multi-year plan which is reviewed and updated in the second and third years of the plan. So we update this every year. We're at a point now in our budget where we're not getting the, before we were getting lots of money and we were adding things. Well, now we're stabilized, right, Mike Reynolds? And so, we got to put on the brakes a little, and we got to really go deeper with the programs that we have and monitor them so that we do them well, but we're not just adding all the time. We can't, there's only so much you can do, and you've got to focus. So we're at that point now. So when we talk about how we get stakeholder engagement, it doesn't happen. This is a board study session for the board to get information in a different setting. And thank you all for being here to support this effort. But I want you to know we have many efforts to do that. We have LCAP stakeholder meetings. We have community meetings, board meetings where we talk about the goals every board meeting. CAM, CSEA, AMVAMP, MVA, and Cabinet. We have Educational Services Directors meetings where they go over this. Extended Cabinet, telephone town hall meetings, parent ambassadors. So I'm not going to read every one of those, but you can see that we do a lot of outreach to get information from a variety of groups. We just don't have one meeting where it happens. So that's important. And then we have students that are involved in it. And so this year I've met with students 3 times, and we talk about what's happening in these meetings, and they've given me lots of feedback, and they're very honest about what needs to happen in our schools. And we just had our last meeting on March 13th, and they're invited to the other LCAP meetings, but they are part of that. And then we have community meetings. And those dates aren't right on there because they've changed, but I'll get the right dates. I mean, they've changed, they're not that. Yeah. It's okay. They aren't, because we're not having one on April 22nd. I know, because I'm leading it. But we'll get the right ones. Okay. And so then we're very fortunate to have an interim chief business official, Mike Reynolds, who's joined us from retirement, and he's been in. Have you been in 7 districts? Yes. 7, and he's a wealth of information. So we have an annual cycle of budget development, and so we're right here on April the 9th, which is part of our calendar of events, where we have a board study session. And so the next steps are we're going to have an LCAP and budget approval. We'll forward the plan to RCOE, and we'll post on the district website. So there's always, Lisa and a group of people are going to a workshop on Friday, right, where they're going to work on LCAP revisions and what needs to be in the LCAP and different things that get added each year. So I'm on slide 10, so I'm about done. But Mr. Allegre, before you come up, I'm switching to another slide. I'm taking this out of order because I like to do that. I like to keep everybody guessing. So I've got a presenter that has to go, and so we're going to go to his slide. Slide 52. Well, so I'd like to, Lisa Broomfield, why don't you come forward? You can introduce this area. And thank you all for, this student has to go, and you can explain why, because he's going to a college or something tonight, yeah. So, yeah, just a college. So, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ketziora. We're excited to have our presenter from Moreno Valley High School, and we also have the assistant principal, Rhodes Williams. Could you please come forward? LaToisha Brown was looking forward to being here tonight, but she had a death in the family. So we thank Mr. Rhodes for being here, and he's going to introduce his student and tell you why he's here.
This is Rashad Ruff, a senior at Moreno Valley High School. And with Ms. Bloomfield's help and assistance, in having the UCAN conference in September here, we were able to amass our senior class around the UCAN conference at Moreno Valley, at Moreno Valley's gym. And what we derived from that was probably about 6 scholarships. We have 2 girls who have signed with Southern University, along with Mr. Ruff here, to Coppin State. And so he is here this evening, and he's going to tell you a little bit about his process. But I want to thank Ms. Bloomfield. I want to thank Dr. Ketsora for having the UCAN conference in the district. I think it's a great asset for our students, and the HBCUs are looking for students from all over our district. But without any further ado, this is Rashad Ruff, and he's one of our scholar athletes. This gentleman here has a 4.7 grade point average. And he's part of history here in the district. Moreno Valley had never gone to CIF in baseball. They went in 2017 and 2018 to the final game. He started as a sophomore in 2017, and they're on their way to trying to return to CIF again. But he has received a full ride scholarship to Coppin State University in Baltimore, Maryland. Rashad Ruff.
I attended the UCAN conference in September, and that gave me a good idea of what to expect in college. I received a full ride scholarship that's about $27,000, including tuition and room and board. I was looking for a school with both good academics and a good baseball team where I could play. Coppin State University has both of those. My father was in contact with one of the baseball coaches, and I went out to a camp out there, a baseball camp, and I performed infield and batting practice drills for the head coach, and I took a tour of the campus. Then I committed to go there. After the camp, I was offered a spot on the team, and I was given 2 weeks to make a decision on whether I wanted to go there or not.
2 weeks.
And after discussing the opportunity with my parents, I decided to attend the university. I feel good about the opportunity, and I feel good that my hard work at Moreno Valley High School is paying off. I'm looking forward to the opportunity that I'll have. I'm leaving early tonight because I'm going to Coppin State University to speak with admissions and meet my baseball team and coaches.
I'd like his family to stand up who's here with him. We so appreciate having you involved parents in our district. We're very proud. Thank you so much for coming here. We appreciate it. Oh, I'm sorry. His dad was a former student. And both parents, thank you so much for being Moreno Valley Unified alumni. Mr. Allegre. Thank you for letting us go out of order. Thank you guys so much.
Good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. I get the honor of being able to go over the California dashboard. Again, it was presented to us or released in December. And just to go back and review, the new accountability system is based on the 8 LCFF priorities. Everything from basic services all the way to student achievement, school climate. And there are 2 types that we're going to be measured in, state indicators and local indicators. Local indicators are identified by the district. They had certain criteria, and we had to say, yes, we're meeting these requirements basic conditions being things like, are there enough textbooks? Are all the teachers credentialed? Implementation of state standards. How are we in adopting NGSS? How are we with Common Core? Parental involvement. Do our parents have a say in the LCAP and whatnot? The ones that most people look at are the state indicators. And if you think about these as a report card, these are the subjects that we are getting, and the grades we get, again, are those colored dials, with blue being the top and red being the bottom. And so we're going to be looking at academic performance, chronic absenteeism, suspension rate, all of those tying back to the LCFF priorities. So, district-wide, this is what it looked like. Looking at priority 4, student achievement, we had the English language indicator, the math indicator, and the English learner progress indicator. Looking at the English language indicator, we scored an orange. And again, unlike systems from the past, this system talks not only about how well the kids did, but also how did they change from the prior year. So we're not only recognizing status, but we're also recognizing whether they changed from the prior year. We scored an orange in ELA, we scored an orange in math. Fortunately, we have plans in place, and these are getting better, especially from the previous year. English learner progress doesn't have one this year because last year, LPAC was the first year. And again, you need multiple years of data to have a color. So right now, they just showed us that there are 4 levels in the LPAC, and these are the percentages of how those kids scored in each of those areas. And then new for this year was our college and career indicator. Again, this indicator lets us know how well prepared kids are getting ready for either college and or career. And according to this, we had 30% of the kids prepared. And there's a list of criteria that shows that. It's everything from how well they did on their academic performance on the CASP, also IB tests, AP tests, dual enrollment. All those things go into the college and career indicator. And then the other indicators, priority 5 with student engagement, we have chronic absenteeism and also our graduation rate. Chronic absenteeism is orange. And graduation rate, as you know, we've been climbing every year, is at a 90.9%, which is green. And then the final one, priority area 6 with school climate, is orange as well. And we are talking to our schools, and I know that we all have plans getting ready to make all of these shift for the better for next school year as well.
Thank you, Mr. Alegre.
Lisa Broomfield, I told Miss Hunter that Mr. Gonzalez, who's the board member in Valverde, he has to go to a board meeting, so he's going to come next. And you didn't know that, but you'll come right after him.
That sounds perfect.
And I apologize. I know this is out of order, but people have to do different things. And thank you for being so flexible.
Thank you very much. I'd like to introduce Julio Gonzalez, who runs our middle college program, where we partner with our seniors from, or juniors and seniors from our high school that go to the middle college program.
Thank you, and I apologize for being a little out of order in your agenda, but I do appreciate the accommodation. I have to leave in about 10 minutes, and this will be short. First, I'll allow our student to introduce themselves.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Kaylin Ng, and I am an 11th grader from Canyon Springs High School, and I am also the junior class president of the middle college high school program over at Moreno Valley College. In the past 6 months since I've been enrolled into this program, I'd say that my experience has been beneficial and very worthwhile. I found myself surrounded in a community of students who are very like-minded in their ambitions, as well as their goals set for their future. Since I've been able to go ahead and be in this program, so many wonderful opportunities have been open to me. I've had the ability to go ahead and be immersed into the college environment, and I've been able to go ahead and get ahead in my studies.
Okay, so thank you. She's definitely one of our leaders on campus. I had a meeting with her a couple weeks ago, and she has other members of our program that she's working with, and it was just impressive how she had everyone do their part, and just a really good leader. So we're very happy to have stole her from Canyon Springs High School. But real quick, the Middle College High School program is made possible through the partnership that Moreno Valley Unified provides. This partnership that's been around since 1999. And I do know that one of our current board members is part of that team that made all of this possible. So thank you so much. Next slide, please. This is a 2-year program where students are recruited when they're sophomores, and they complete their last 2 years of high school at Moreno Valley College, taking both high school and college classes. The students start in the summer with guidance classes, and afterwards they're taking up to 11 units during the semester and up to 7 units during the winter and summer. Students are graduating. They have the opportunity to graduate with more than 1 year worth of college units. Next slide, please. This is a sample. This year's Moreno Valley Unified middle college student population. They kind of provides a breakdown of the students' demographics, both juniors and seniors. Next slide, please. This is our more current data. We do not have the data for class of 19 because we're still collecting the information of where students are going after high school, but it just illustrates the number of participants, how many students have graduated, the percentage of high school graduation, which has been 100%, college enrollment, which has been 97 to 100%, and then also associate degrees. This is program-wise, where we've had up to 34% of our students earning an associate's as well as a high school diploma. Next slide, please. This year, we have 15 seniors on track to earn a combination of 45 college units. We have 1 student that is on track for 2 associates. We have 13 students on track for 3 associates, and we have 1 student on track of 4 associates. And thank you. From that, 8 will finish this spring, and 7 will come back to do 1 or 2 classes in the summer. Next slide, please. We've had students accepted already to many UCs and CSUs. A first for our program, we had a student from Moreno Valley High School who was accepted to Brown University. So, thank you, Moreno Valley High School. Another one stolen. Next slide, please. That was my. There was another slide that showed the number of. I guess I was missing. Yeah, I guess I missed one slide. Not a problem. Did you have anything else? Yes, perfect.
All right. So in the past 6 months, when I've been able to go ahead and be enrolled into the program, I found myself surrounded by a community of students who are like-minded in their ambitions as well as their goals for the future. But along with this, I've also found the program to be just as beneficial in other aspects. For one, I'm very lucky, or I feel very fortunate that in the program, we have the opportunity to be able to go ahead and have first-hand advisory with both our college counselor, both our high school counselor and also one of our high school teachers. Over there at the college, we have a class that is geared towards our career preparation as well, or our career and college preparation, and it allows us to be able to go ahead and in the class focus on scholarships, upcoming applications, you name it, anything concerned with upcoming terms of being able to go ahead and continue our further education after high school. And with this being one of our sources, our high school counselor is one of our other beneficial sources, to which we're able to go ahead and seek advisory in terms of what majors we're interested in and how the classes which we're taking at through the middle college program, how they're able to go ahead for the different courses that we're taking, how they're able to apply to these courses as well. And also through this opportunity, it just has been proven very beneficial for all of us on different terms, and yeah, it's a really awesome program.
One last thing that I do want to highlight that I guess got a little cut out, but from the 40 current seniors that we have right now, 26 of them have a higher, a 3.0 or higher GPA, and so it's 11 that have a 3.0 to a 3.4. 11 that have a 3.5 to a 3.9, and 4 of them that have a 4.0 in their college classes. So, I mean, the students are doing amazing. So, thank you. This concludes the presentation.
Thank you so much. Wasn't that awesome? Okay. Thank you, Diane. Okay. I just wanted to spend a few minutes talking about how the Local Control Accountability Plan comes to be. It's a focus on expanded services, of course, for our low-income, foster youth, homeless youth, English learners, African-American students. But here in Moreno Valley, it's a collaborative effort between all of our bargaining units, including MVEA, CSEA, and AMVAMP, as well as the district. There are 4 goals in our LCAP, and they are aligned to our strategic plan. I'm not going to read these because as we go through, we will talk about each goal. Beginning with Goal 1, and Goal 1, of course, is that all students are proficient in literacy, numeracy, critical thinking, and technology skills. And the way our study session is designed is that we will spend time on each goal, and we're going to highlight some of the wonderful programs that we're able to support through our Local Control Accountability Plan. The services under Goal 1 that support our students, many programs, including our one-to-one devices for our students in grades 3 through 12, lots of supplemental instructional materials, support for early literacy, Head Start, class size reduction, out-of-ratio teachers to make our classes smaller and to have more offerings, library media assistance, PAR program. All of these supports are in Goal 1. English Learner Master Plan, dual language immersion, our project Moving Forward, our MAP program that helps us and supports us in doing our benchmark assessments and interim assessments, full day kindergarten program, middle, high school PBIS support programs, our summer learning programs, both for elementary and middle school and high school, district-wide flex days to support classroom instruction, child welfare and attendance, behavior support specialists, professional development, assessment center, registration center, site-specific interventions. All of those are contained within Goal number 1. And we are going to highlight programs within Goal number 1, and our first one is Lilia Villa.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm actually not the program. The program is Dual Immersion. And I have the pleasure of introducing to you 3 amazing 5th grade DLI students from Armada and from Butterfield. The 2 principals are here, but in the interest of time, I hope they're okay. I'm not going to call them up. I'm only going to call the students up. So we're going to start with Armada, and we're going to start with Malachi. Malachi, do you want to come up, please? And what the students are going to do is they're going to spend about a minute showcasing their language skills in the target language, not their home language. So this is Malachi from Armada.
Hello, my name is Malachi Elam. Hola, se llamo Malachi Elam.
Miss Villa, it might help if he set it down on the table while he looked at it. And I mean, if it helps him. And maybe
El programa DLI me ayudó a aprender español. Llegué al programa DLI en segundo grado. El español me ayudó a entender las personas que hablan español. Estas clases ayudan a aprender palabras que no sabía cómo decir. El español me ayudó a hablar con personas que solo hablan español y a traducir a personas que solo hablan inglés. Todos los años yo aprendí nuevas palabras para estar listo para el siguiente grado. El programa DLI me ayudó a ser bilingüe y me ayudará en mi futuro.
Muchísimas gracias, Malachi. Are you interested in English? I know that we're pressed for time, so I've only asked them to do it in the target language. Malachi, I want to say to you that as a former Spanish teacher, I am super impressed, especially since you started in second grade. You didn't start in kinder, so that deserves another round of applause for Malachi. I want to thank you, and Malachi's family is here, sir. Would you and the rest of your children would like to stand so that you also get recognized? Thank you so much, Malachi. The next student that we want to hear from is also from Armada, Lilian Roman Rocha. You heard from her earlier. She is the young lady that did the Pledge of Allegiance. She did an incredible rendition of the Spanish version of the Pledge of Allegiance. Lilian? And Lilian will showcase her English skills since Spanish is her home language.
Good afternoon. My name is Lilian Roman, and I am in the DLI program, Dual Immersion, at Armada Elementary. I'm very happy to be in this program because from it I have learned how to speak, listen, write, and understand both the English and Spanish language. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lilian. And Lilian, I believe you're here with your mother. Yes, señora, póngase de pie para reconocerla. Gracias por traerla. Thank you, Lilian. And next, I would like to first acknowledge the principal, Mrs. Esmeralda Chalfant from Butterfield Elementary. And we have with us Kalani Willis from Butterfield. She's a 5th grade student, and she also will do a brief presentation in Spanish. Kalani?
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Kalani Willis. Actualmente estoy cursando el 5º grado en la escuela primaria Butterfield y me siento orgullosa de ser una estudiante en el programa de inmersión dual desde kinder. I can tell you how this program has tremendously impacted my life and my future. I know for a fact that being bilingual will open many doors, such as a good career in the criminal justice field. El ser bilingüe me da la oportunidad de impactar positivamente la vida de personas que hablan el idioma inglés o español. Now I'm more clear on speaking Spanish and able to talk to others and understand what they are saying so my family can understand as well. En mi futuro profesional, la habilidad de ser bilingüe demostrará que, aunque nunca pensé que llegaría tan lejos, aquí estoy, bilingual and proud.
Muchísimas gracias, Kalani. Y con Kalani está su papá, señor. Congratulations. Again, as the director of the English Learner Program and the one who oversees the dual immersion program, I could not be more proud. And we're going to go ahead and go to the next one. As many of you already know, we presently offer dual immersion at 4 elementary sites. Before I say that, we have some dual immersion 5th grade teachers from Butterfield. We have Daisy and Daisy Salazar and Mrs. Acevedo. If you would wave, ladies. They're the ones that are responsible for such greatness that these students represented. The students, you're welcome to stay. Otherwise, you're welcome to leave as well. Thank you so much again for your presentations. We appreciate it. So again, we're at 4 elementary school sites, and I have to tell you that our recruitment meetings are amazing. We have had full standing room only parent recruitment meetings. At the first one, we had 64 families attend my meeting, and all 64 registered their kindergartner for the program. And that's been happening ever since we started our meetings for this coming school year. So we're very proud. We are at Armada, at Butterfield, at Creekside, and at Sunnymead Elementary. Next year, in 1920, we will be transitioning to middle school, and the 3 middle schools that have been identified for dual immersion include Badger Springs, Mountain View Middle School, and Sunnymead Middle School as well. There is high interest for one of those middle schools. About 63 of those existing families have submitted a transfer for one of those middle schools. I won't mention it. You might see if you can guess. Proposed for 2022-23 high schools are Canyon Springs High School and Moreno Valley High School. These are just proposed high schools at this point. Those have not been finalized, but we know that those families, and presently in 5th grade and even younger families, they want to know potentially what their high school will be. The next slide, I have to say, I am very proud of, because it's right in line with what the researchers, what the experts in dual immersion, Lori Olson, Thomas and Collier, are saying about dual immersion, and that is that our students in dual immersion, once they start taking the CASP, the state assessment, they will perform at least as well or better than those students who are being taught in just English. And here we have a breakdown. We only have 2 schools that are presently offering 4th and 5th grade dual immersion, and those are Armada and Butterfield. Again, these are some of the students that will be moving on to dual immersion in 6th grade. I broke it down by English language arts, followed by math, and then we're gonna focus on reclassification. But researchers, after 40 years of meta-analyses and 40 years of research, they have found that dual immersion really is a premier program, the premier program, especially for English learners, and it is a very top-notch program for English-only students. And what they say is that, again, students in dual immersion programs will outperform students in English-only classrooms because they are using a greater percentage of their brain as they are learning multiple languages. So as you can tell on the CASP from last year, Armada in English language arts, 60.5% of their dual immersion students were at meets or exceeds on the CASP in English language arts, compared to their compared to the non-DLI counterparts at 19.4. At Butterfield, they were at 45%, but their non-DLI were a little higher. But again, dual immersion was higher than the non-DLI. And then you can see what the results are in math, again, very much in line with what the research shows. This slide is also something to be extremely proud of, because as you can tell, the district reclassification percentage average is 16.5. But look at what's happening in the dual immersion classrooms. At Armada, by the time students are in 5th grade, 41% of those students reclassified. At Butterfield, an incredible 64% of those English learners reclassified. At both sites, if you take the average of both sites, we're at 52%. We are, the district, even though we're at 16.5, is higher than the county, and it's higher than the state. And I know that that's music to Dr. Kedziora's ears. So I am going to leave you with that. I am extremely proud of this program. We are continuing to grow this program. And we're presently looking for, again, very highly qualified teachers for for the following year. Thank you so much.
One of the large line items in the budget for professional development is, or for the LCAP, is professional development. So an important component of Goal 1 is professional development. But professional development is not unlike this can of Pringles. Have you ever looked at a can of Pringles in the grocery store and kind of thought, I don't know if this is enough bang for my buck. It's the same price as that big fat bag of potato chips right there. I wonder which is the better value. And it's sleek, it's small, it's compact, but when you open it up, it's full of chips. Hundreds of chips. Well, maybe not hundreds, but when they're broken up, there's hundreds. Sorry about that. But I mean, that's really a great analogy for professional development in our district. One of the chips might be trainings over spring break, summertime, wintertime. It might be rolling out Q to all of our teachers in our district. We have 1,700 teachers in the district. They do a lot of that. We also have many district events like Science Fair and the Reading Festival. You're going to see professional development specialists behind the scenes in that. Also, we roll out things like the Chromebook Initiative. We also develop curriculum and implement that curriculum. So all of these chips could be labeled with a permanent marker, but I didn't really have time for that, and I was afraid they'd break. But you get the idea that there's many, many multi-layers to the professional development department. So I'm going to share that with you now. To begin with, we can think of professional development specialists, and raise your hand if you're a PD specialist. Yeah, they deserve a big round of applause. Thank you for being here. And just as a side note, how many of you are bilingual? That's awesome. And so four hats of professional development specialist wears are very distinctive. They plan and implement district initiatives. They coach teachers daily at their school sites. Each one of them is assigned to a school site. They don't sit at the PDC. They're out in schools. They're out in classrooms daily. They develop and conduct PD sessions that are Moreno Valleyized and not packaged PD sessions, if you will, that we've bought or have received, but we put our own spin on those trainings. And then development and implement curriculum. In front of you at your place, you have two handouts. One is yellow and one is pink. And this kind of lays out just a sample of one of the big curriculum projects we're about ready to launch into. The yellow one is, on the front side, is elementary phase 1 and phase 2 of core curriculum for Wonders, Scope and Sequence, and Benchmark Assessments project. The pink one is for secondary, for Study Sync and for Springboard. This is really important because we had mandatory trainings last summer for the new textbook adoptions, but they were done by the publishers. So we have found that we really need to break down and take apart these textbook materials and Moreno Valleyize them. Through that process, we incorporate input from many of our teachers. We just submitted a list to MVEA for 65 plus teachers to participate and provide input. And so we work with teachers. And because they are teachers, they work with teachers, they're teachers for teachers. Next slide. But before I talk about those four hats, I wanted to really kind of talk about our Friday capacity building, because we are off campuses on Fridays. The professional development specialists are back at the PDC. They are engaging in training, simulations, collaboration, and research. One of the things we're really proud of is that they are all well-versed in the coaching model that we learned through Action Learning Systems, which I'll talk about more in a second. And we are the first group of teachers in the nation to get the distinction of Dell Certified Instructional Mentors and an advanced version of that. They didn't even really know what to call it, and they had to design a badge. So all of them earned digital badges. Do you love those badges? Very much so. And then we also have about 80% of our staff Google certified, of course, because we use Chromebooks. So we also, another important tenet of the department is that our decision making is based on data. So we're one of the departments in the district that uses surveys regularly. We have one spring annual survey where we get input from teachers and principals, probably to the tune of about 700 respondents. And we also look at student achievement data, so we work with assessment and accountability to get that information. And then we garner feedback after every training. We also ask for input from principals directly what their school goals are. But take a look at the purple sheet at your place. This is just a sample. Thank you, Patricia Gomez and Emmy Glancy. This is input from a session that they just did about a week ago, right? Jill Dayton and Patricia Gomez. So this is the kind of input we get. We also get graphs and forms about, did we meet your needs? Did we not meet your needs? I mean, I just went on a little vacation and I flew Delta and I did a couple other things, and immediately the next day I had a survey, right? In my email. How did we do? How did we do? It's very important to us. So we have surveys coming out of our ears, and we use that data and we make changes on the run and permanent changes to the department. So let's talk about that first hat. One of the things we do is we're kind of the legs to those district initiatives. We put the boots on the ground and we get those kinds of things out the door, like textbook, ELA and math focus plans, which you have in front of you in those books, that you'll see some responses to the end of the year reports. Also, the Chromebook rollout, Q, which is our student management system, Illuminate, NWEA map. How many of you guys know map like the back of your hand? Yeah. And so when any teacher has questions about these digital sources, pieces of the textbook, they know exactly who to go to. And so they have that support at their school. We also have Step Up to Writing, K through 12 in the district, of which they've all been trained on and they all know. They know STEAM initiatives. One of our big projects this year is our professional development specialists sponsoring or putting on STEAM labs. Would that be the way to say it? And then also, of course, flex day support and planning. Another hat they wear, of course, is coaching. And so I would like to quote the popular Brian Bates, professional development specialist, where he said something very profound. In some districts, coaching happens to teachers because they aren't cutting it. At MVUSD, coaching happens with teachers because they're worth it. I'd like to share with you a video that Dell EMC asked us to make, and they professionally produced it. We want our students to be critical thinkers, creative, and work collaboratively.
For our students to be successful, we want to make sure that they graduate, but they also graduate ready for college and career.
We want to see every student succeed and every student reach their maximum potential.
One of the things we've prided ourselves in is to work towards that goal. With Dell EMC as a partner, we just did a very big initiative. And that initiative was to have Dell Chromebooks in every student's hand in grades 3 through 12. When you're deploying 24,000 devices to students, teachers have to know how it's utilized effectively. The specialists from Dell EMC have come to our district and provided abundant professional development to our professional development specialists and hence our teachers.
Our professional development specialists are the first group of coaches in the nation to earn Dell EMC certified mentors. Big component of that program for us was the reflective pieces.
We were able to practice coaching with each other. We could observe the professional development specialist coaching the teacher and then debrief afterwards, and that really helped to strengthen all of our coaching skills.
Having these coaching conversations, it's really helping us to open those doors, to share those best practices, to share those strategies. I'm getting more ideas of what I can do to support the teachers that I have here on campus.
One of the hallmarks of professional learning here is that it's not an event that happens, twice a year. It's a daily occurrence, and the professional development specialists are assigned to each school, and they provide on-demand coaching, on-demand support.
With the one-to-one devices and the training, we're finding that our teachers are shifting to more facilitative, collaborative teaching strategies.
I feel that the Chromebooks have helped me become a better teacher because I have more engaged students. So now they're grouped up side by side and giving students that opportunity to help teach one another, to share ideas with one another, is enhancing their learning experience.
When we work in a group, we can also share our information to see if someone has it right or wrong. It helps me learn better.
Moreno Valley chose Dell Chromebooks for a number of reasons. The Dell device was the most rugged and durable device, and we understood and knew that the Dell EMC products were reliable. The fact that they used the Intel processors all made it a product that we thought would be a good device for our students. Using Google and the Google Chrome platform, the students are able to work on those devices whether they're at school or at home.
We can share our documents with other students and they can collaborate and add in their inputs.
They're able to collaborate from their houses without having any transportation issues, without having any communication issues, because the Chromebooks solve a lot of that. Working closely with my instructional coach helped me to make sure that the students are getting the best education that they deserve. I really like teaching because I get to help students. I was fortunate enough to be helped by a specific teacher. Having that for me was a really life-changing pathway, and I really want to share that with the students that we have and make them aware that there's more opportunities to them than they're aware of.
It's definitely a commercial for Dell EMC, but you can see how powerful it is talking about professional development. The third hat our PD specialists wear is coaching. This is the coaching cycle. We use many different models in the classrooms. Sometimes, if you'll see here at the beginning, we of course start with data, and that can be either survey data or data from MAP or CASP or common formative assessments. We go into maybe a pre-brief where there's either co-plan or some sort of initial training. Then in class, there might be a co-teach opportunity or a demonstration lesson or model lesson. Or sometimes now our teachers are asking for the coaches to watch them teach and give them feedback. And that's huge, isn't it, you guys? It was only a few short years where teachers are like, I don't need a coach. And now, would you say it's completely shifted? I have to say, they have never been this quiet before. So I'm excited that they're here and you guys are being really well behaved. But the debrief, feedback and reflection is really critical. And so we've really learned to use questions effectively to help our teachers reflect. And then on into the next steps where there's goal setting, following up, and then doing it all again. The fourth hat, of course, is, this is still our third hat, same hat. So I'm going to have a couple people give you a couple testimonials. So Stacy and Mr. Bauer, come on up.
I apologize, those of you that know me. My name is Stacy Lerma, by the way, and I've been a professional development specialist for the past 3 years. And I'm a little over-prepared, but Dr. Buster told me to trim it down, so I'm going to do that. I apologize. As a professional development specialist, like Dr. Buster said, I wear a lot of different hats in this district. You might have seen me at science fair or STEAM events, but the part of the job that I knew the least about when I took it 3 years ago, but have enjoyed the most, is working with the individual teachers in this coaching role. I have had the wonderful opportunity to see that pure joy that they experience when a lesson we've planned together works well, and they know their students are engaged and learning as exactly as they've hoped. I've been able to work with teachers on technology integration and just see them just so amazed at all the great things that our students can do. Just helping them get over that hurdle of let's try out this new tool. I have been able to come alongside teachers when they were frustrated because they want so badly to be amazing for their students, and sometimes they feel defeated and like they just aren't measuring up. And I've been able to come alongside those teachers and offer a word of encouragement, a listening ear, and help them see that they are having a positive impact and help them to keep working and supporting their students. And I've celebrated with teachers when they see their students improve and when they're able to utilize that new strategy and they feel good and they're like, you know what, I can do it on my own now. I don't need you in here every step of the way, or a new technology tool. And when they've reached that student or that class period that they just weren't sure at the beginning of the year if they were ever going to be able to reach. I'm sorry, Dr. Buster, I'm copying you a little bit. I'm going to quote Brian Bates again. He stated to me when I joined this department, he was my PD specialist at Vista Heights before I left the classroom, but that he never knew that one day he'd feel about his teachers the way he once felt about his students. And there are definitely some noticeable differences working with adults, but I know that just as when I was working with my students, I feel it when my teachers are worried, stressed, or frustrated, and I work to come alongside them and support them through their struggles. I also feel immense joy celebrating their successes and the successes of my school site, just as I celebrated with my students. And just like as a classroom teacher, I felt like I learned as much from my students as I ever taught them. My teachers are amazing, and they make me a better coach and a better professional development specialist each and every day. So on that note, I'm going to turn you over. I left Badger Springs last year, but this is a teacher that I worked with and absolutely adore, and this is Mr. Bill Bauer.
Thanks. You will not hear me say, I don't need a coach. I spent about 8 years at a high school at Valley View teaching earth science. When earth science went away, I became a middle school teacher with different topics that I'd not done before. So it was a very tight learning curve, and at the same time this learning curve was happening, along came NGSS, which was, in short, we're taking everything you know about science standards, throwing them up in the air, and rearranging them. And so there's been that to go along with becoming a new middle school teacher. Stacy has been nothing less than a godsend, because all of the things she was describing about teachers just now, about help, I don't know what to do, I need some support, I'm not sure what to do here next. I have this idea I want to do. Can you come watch me do it to see if it works? Or can you show me how you would do this topic, because I'm a little leery on it? Stacy has been a godsend, and I've just appreciated how much she's been so willing to volunteer. Let me do more, let me do more, let me do more. And always willing to respond positively to any request I could give. And I am positive that I'm a better teacher because Stacy has come in and helped me do a lesson, watched me do a lesson, give me the things that I might need to do the lesson better, listen to me cry, listen to me complain, listen to me say, help, help, what do I do next? All of those things that she mentioned, I've experienced them all in a very short time that I've been at the middle school. Learning a whole new way of doing things with a whole new type of kid and a whole new way of doing science. And I'm very grateful. Thank you for Stacy. Please don't ever take away the Stacys. We need the Stacys. I'm serious about that. She's made me a better teacher by being available to me to be my coach.
Tony and Mr. Holm.
What was that? I was looking at those earlier. I didn't have lunch, so those look really good over there. Hi, Danielle. Can you hear me? Okay. I will not be quoting Brian Bates today. Just want everyone to know. Hello, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share my story with you today. I've worked and met with many of you throughout my career here at Moreno Valley Unified School District, but for those of you who do not know me, my name is Tony Saldana, and I'm the Professional Development Specialist who emphasizes in AVID. I've had the privilege of working in this department for the past 2.5 years, and I've come to know its many successes and overwhelming need for our teachers here at Moreno Valley Unified School District. I got into education over 19 years ago because I wanted to make an impact on students and their lives. And I wanted to make sure I did that here in the community where I grew up in. I considered myself an effective teacher because I saw significant growth in my students when I was in the classroom. And truth be told, leaving the classroom and the students I served was one of the most difficult life decisions I've made. However, being here in this department and working with these individuals has given me a newfound passion and love for education. During my time here, I have been able to mentor, coach, support, train teachers across the district on several topics from AVID to Q and everything else in between, right? I've lost my place. Hold on a second. That was a great sentence, and I lost my place. I've been assigned to elementary sites, middle school sites, and AVID high school sites. I've been able to deliver demonstration lessons, develop and present teacher and district requested trainings, work collaboratively with new and veteran teachers, increase awareness of the importance of PLCs, and help support with data analysis. I have personally seen school morale and culture change, teachers' mindset shift, and most importantly, I've witnessed firsthand students grow from the support and coaching of new and veteran teachers. I mentioned before that I came into education wanting to make a difference in students' lives. As a classroom teacher, I was limited to the students who were assigned to my roster. As a professional development specialist, I'm able to reach so many more students through the collaborative coaching I'm able to offer my colleagues in this position, and for that, I am thankful. Thank you.
So my name is Daniel Holm, and I am the AVID coordinator at Moreno Valley High School. And so this is my first year as the AVID coordinator, and being the demonstration high school for AVID in the district, it was a big responsibility to take on. And having all those burdens and responsibilities was very, very difficult. And having Tony as the AVID coach, she definitely helped me navigate those waters in a way that has truly benefited me. And not only that, because Tony is here as our AVID PD, has enabled us to have our teachers trained in AVID strategies through the professional development here at Moreno Valley, where instead of going off to Summer Institute, which costs quite a bit of money, up to $1,500 a teacher, Tony could do it through PD with our teachers, and she can do a lot more. And not only does she train them in the AVID strategies, it can be really personalized to the students that we have here at Moreno Valley. And what's great about that is the teachers really get instruction and aid that's definitely going to benefit them in the classroom. So I'm just deeply, deeply grateful. I'm not going to make you cry, but she has been a great, great help, especially this first year, and I know she's going to continue to do that. Thank you.
I just want to reiterate that Tony's day job, though, she's assigned at Badger Springs, and so she does that, and then does AVID crammed into wherever we can, and mainly on Fridays. What can I say? There's no introduction needed for Brian Bates, obviously, and Elsa Celio.
Thank you very much. I'm about to quote myself. Hi, everybody. I'm Brian. I'm a PD specialist. I'm also a proud graduate of Moreno Valley Schools. PD specialist. Anybody graduate Moreno Valley Schools? There you are. So I'd like to introduce one of my teachers to you. I cry at Hallmark commercials, so I'll try to hold it together for just one more minute. I say my teacher. If you hang around our team for any amount of time, you'll hear us say my teacher, my teacher, my teacher, because we're fiercely loyal to our teachers. We agonize with them, we suffer with them, we celebrate with them, and we are just so proud to be able to work alongside our teachers and support them, love them the best we can. Elsa and I entered a coaching relationship out of which sprung a wonderful lifelong friendship as well. So I'd like to introduce you to one of my teachers, Elsa Celio.
Hi, my name is Elsa Celio, and I have been teaching for 13 years. I did 7th grade middle school math for 8. Then I decided I needed a change, so I went to 5th grade. Did not like that. So I decided to move again. So I did that for 2 years, and now I'm at Vista Heights Middle School, and I think this is the happiest I've ever been. This is my 3rd year at Vista Heights Middle School, teaching 6th grade math and science. But this happiness didn't just happen. It happened because of Bryant. So 2 years at 5th grade is tough, and I never felt as incompetent as I could have. But I'm not going to cry. But I left, and I landed at Vista Heights Middle School, where Brian and the rest of the 6th grade team, they were amazing. So I needed the help, and Brian was the first person there that was willing and able and available to help me not just regain my love for teaching, but regain my love for life, because it was tough. But my first year at Vista Heights Middle School and all the work that Brian did with us not only helped me look at the California or CSTPs, I know, you know what that is. Look at the CSTPs and look at those goal-setting opportunities to not just help me professionally as a teacher, but to help me as a person, because life is hard and we have lives outside of the classroom, but I was pushing that aside because of my career, so I needed to change that, and Brian helped me do that. So I have work-life balance, thanks to Brian. But coaching changed my life for the better, because it made me, I'm normally a happy person, and for 2 years I wasn't, and so Brian helped me get that back.
So that was just a couple of examples. Chris, thanks. And then our 4th PD hat that we wear is our PD sessions. All of these are developed by our professional development specialists. I'd like to just take a moment and have Mr. Greg Solomon stand up for a moment. And Greg is the main architect of our UCR MVUSD STEAM certificate program. Visual and performing arts got put with professional development, where we're kind of like, well, how does that work? And we have worked extremely collaboratively. We have a big project coming up this summer where professional development specialists will be helping with the big art grant that Greg's team received. Also, Greg is also the main architect of our MVUSD Leadership Academy. And so he works definitely hand in hand with everything that we do. Right, guys? Yeah, amazing. So all of these, if we can go back to that one, all of these offerings are developed by us, and they're Moreno Valley-ized. So to develop a session, what would you guys say? For 1 hour of PD, or a 5.5 hour PD day, how many hours go into planning and researching? Yeah, and then you look at your evals. So it's many hours to readjust and to develop these offerings. So to make sure that we have high adult learning engagement, we spend a lot of time working and researching what works best for adults. Okay. And then we have, of course, curriculum development. Again, you have those handouts. We are talking right now about launching a big project to respond to our test scores related to, it should say P3 READ initiative here, where we'll be talking about early literacy and really hitting that hard. And then we've done other projects like our standards-based report card for elementary and grading handbook for parents and for teachers, and our own Step Up to Writing correlation document that aligns with our English Language Arts textbook series. So we'll go ahead and close with this short video. Can of Pringles unopened and uncrushed.
Okay, it's really not fair to follow that, Dr. Buster. What a great job that was highlighting your department. I'm here to introduce goal number 2. All students graduate high school prepared to successfully enter into higher education and or pursue a viable career path. And I just have to say real quick on a personal note, I'm so proud of the students in this district. When we talked about middle college and those kids were getting associate's degrees by the time they're 18 years old, it took me 20 years to get my bachelor's degree. So I was pretty impressed. And then those little kids that were speaking Spanish, I took 6 years of Spanish and I still don't speak as well as them. So we're doing something right here. And I'm really happy to be a part of it. So some of the things that we do to support this LCAP goal is our visual and performing arts program, mentoring. We have our programs at our All-to-Ed sites, our college and career readiness and our career technical education programs, SAT prep classes, 9th grade academy, our JROTC. We provide courses, of course, and access to our IB programs, our AVID program, the Asterisk student internship program, our AP testing, our STEAM, building assets, reducing risk, our BAR program, our RCOE, CTE teachers we support, and middle college. And this is just a few of the key things we do for to support Goal 2. One of the things we do is also test prep. And so we have a site that is using a test prep program this year, Vista del Lago, and they're going to come up and give us a little bit of information about their program. And so I'm going to introduce Eric Swanson as the principal of Vista del Lago High School.
Good evening, everybody. At Vista del Lago, We really want to support and provide opportunities for our students to ensure that they are successful while at the school, but after they leave Vista del Lago in pursuing a career or college, whatever they choose to do. And so when we were approached with this program, we are piloting this year. We chose 2 teachers to do it through their AVID classes, one of them being our phenomenal Mr. Benitez. And he's going to talk more about the program. And then I do have a student here, Miss Claudia Tolano, and she's going to talk about her experiences in going through this preparation program. So without further ado, Mr. Benitez.
All right, thank you, Mr. Swanson. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for giving this opportunity, Chris and Hunter, to be able to present. It was a kind of nerve-wracking when they called me in the office. Hey, we have this brand new SAT prep program that we're going to implement, and we want you to be the one to pilot it. And I was like, oh, okay, let's do this, right? So when we came in, you know, you have a lot of questions, but we actually had a team come in, sit us down, and basically go through the ins and outs of the program. And what I learned as a teacher first implementing it is very user-friendly, very thorough. It had different modes of presentations. It had a Prezi, had videos, had PowerPoints. So I was able to diversify the instruction so that I could, you know, meet the needs of the students. And what my favorite part was, they actually came in and gave a pre-assessment. So they actually sat down. We tested every single AVID junior that we had. We sent them in the library for one day, and we gave them a pre-SAT. And they sat down and they went through the English portion, the math portion, and the writing portion so that they could get just a full encounter. We do have our students take the PSAT, but as you know, it's not really a full-length exam. It's a shorter version just to kind of expose them to it. So when giving them a full SAT exam, the students came back to me and were like, you know what? I feel more confident now. I feel like I could go into the SAT, sit down, and I'm not going to have as much anxiety about the SAT. And with, if you guys know, you only get 2 fee waivers. So if you go in that first time with that anxiety and you take that exam and you do bad, you just wasted a fee waiver. And then you go in and you try to take it again, and you maybe do a little bit better. And with the help of the district, I know you guys also pay for a SAT, so they do have the opportunities, but this is just another opportunity to help them to improve their scores. And the early results, we are seeing that students had about 20 to 30 points improvement from the pre-SAT exam, which might not be that much if you only think 20, 30 points, but for a student who said, hey, I'm nervous, this is the first time I'm taking it, to see them improve by 30 points, that means the world to them. And the next time they take the SAT, they're going to think, you know what, maybe next time I can improve 50 points. And if they can improve a score by 50 or more points, they're better in the opportunity to be accepted to bigger universities. But I'm going to go ahead and let Claudia talk about her personal experience. And thank you again for letting me speak.
Hello. During the whole SAT preparations, it is a big opportunity to, receive videos, receive prezis and presentations like when Mr. Benitez was showing us notes. It's a lot of work, but it gets you the feeling of you know what's on the test and you know how you're going to handle it. From my experience, we usually did making sure we had our fee waivers, and most kids didn't, so it was a lot of you need to get that fee waiver kind of push. And I really appreciated that because I'm a bit of a procrastinator, but it's a really good to get the whole preparations for the SAT.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity. Thank you, Ms. Hunter.
Thank you very much. And next is Pam Bender.
Come on up. Okay, I'm here to talk about Goal 3, where this is where learning environments support all students to thrive academically at the rigor of each grade level. And in special education, we know that our dashboard does not always look so great, but we also know that as a result of that, a lot of our kids are unable to learn because of other issues going on with them. But in areas for the services and supports under Goal 3, this is where we support GATE, schools, site support with additional elementary school principals, the social worker for the Bauer program at the high schools. Is for a nurse. We've got foster youth services, the homeless student services. We have additional counseling staff, athletic programs, restructuring of administrative positions, safety and security, the CalPADS program, school resource officers, increasing that, the CalSafe program, and attendance specialists. So those are all under Goal 3 to help support all students. So with that, it does not come out of LCAP funds, but we do have funds that come to us through mental health. And we get federal and state monies for providing students who are special education that need additional mental health services. And we serve right now about 4,800 students in special education, students that have IEPs. And of those students, there's 249 right now that receive mental health services. So about 5% of that special ed population receives mental health services. And that's and it could be individual counseling, group counseling, social work services, and we also do some parent counseling kind of wraparound services with some of our families as well. We do have programs for students with emotional disturbance, and we see that a lot of times. Those tend to be our more difficult students, and the majority of them all have mental health services. We have 3 classrooms at Chaparral Hills. We have 1 at Mountain View Middle School, 1 at Landmark, and 1 at Vista Heights Middle School. We have an ED program at Canyon Springs and at Moreno Valley High School and Vista del Lago High School. And then we also have Alessandro, which is our alternative program for students with emotional disturbance. It's the school that we have. We kind of call it our non-public school alternative. And as we're going to talk about what we're trying to do to help the sites with the larger portion of students with emotional disturbance, we're going to talk about Chaparral Hills and then Alessandro, who have started up a new program that will be helpful for kids. Let me introduce really quickly, though. This is Ralph Reuter. He is our coordinator for mental health services. And we have Cassandra Black, who's one of our mental health support providers. And of course, we're going to have Deirdre Johnson. I was going to say Johnson. I thought, oh, it's wrong. Who's going to talk about the program at Chaparral Hills.
Good afternoon. The choice option programs were designed as a partnership with the principals at the site, in this case with Deirdre Johnson and also with Dr. Cassandra McNair. I say it's a partnership because at first glance one may think that we simply put a room where kids can be pulled out of when they have behavioral issues. That's not quite the case. Dr. Kidziora had mentioned that he had taught ED for a year. He knows that these children come with serious emotional, behavioral problems. They need time to process their frustration, they process their anxiety, they process their anger. In this room are professionals that deal with these individuals. They have different techniques that they work with, strategies, including puppets and sensory sand, but we also follow the child back into the classroom. It's a team effort, and we work on the strategies so that the child can practice those calming techniques, practice the ability to say, I don't feel like I can do this now. Can I take a break? Can I do an alternative project? And so this is helping the students accomplish several things. One, it allows them to remain in their program in the least restrictive environment where they can receive their education. It also prevents us as a district of having to say we can't educate you because of your behavior. We need to put you somewhere else. This has resulted in a drastic reduction in behavior and a drastic reduction in suspension for children with special needs. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Deirdre Johnson and let her just speak a little bit about how this has affected the program, having 3 ED programs on her side at Chaparral.
Thanks for reminding me. I am the principal of Chaparral Hills Elementary School. It's the only elementary school that has 3 ED classes. So it's my first year as being the principal, so it was a little bit shocking at first, but I will say that with the support of Cassandra Black, that we have worked really hard at developing some strategies to really help students and help the staff also be open to the student when the student returns. Specifically, I can talk about numbers that last year, without the support of the Cheetah Choice Room, there were 91 days of suspension at Chaparral Hills. This year, with the support of the Cheetah Choice Room, it's been reduced to 24. So that's like 75% reduction, and the year's not even over. So as I was looking at the way that they rotate through the centers, I thought, I've probably done that myself. I've gone in there and calmed down, problem solved a little bit, and then went back to my office. But it's been a great support, and I really don't know what we would have done without the support of the Cheetah Choice Room.
Hello, so I am the supervisor of the Cheetah Choice Room at Chaparral, and it has been a very, very innovative and fun project to be a part of. I didn't have a template on which to start this program. My supervisor, Ralph, just said, I want you to do it. And so I had to do it. And I'm very, very proud. I'm very proud because of those numbers there and those percentages that show that we are making an impact. Some of those of us in the room, because each day is very different, each child has their different moods every day, we kind of lose sight of whether or not what we're doing is working. But when we pull the data and we see, it really makes a difference for us. So I'm very, very happy and excited to be part of this program. And Dr. Sheffield, I think you're up next.
Good evening. I am the Director of Student Services and very proud to be over that department. There are a variety of students and programs that we support, and one of the big programs that we support is for our foster youth students. And we have put a variety of things in place to make sure we are supporting them. We number of suspensions for our foster youth. And those include identifying a specific counselor that will work with our students post a suspension, integrating PBIS systems within our schools, collaborating with our site coordinator, and social worker, as well as the DPSS, Department of Social Services. Our suspensions for foster youth as we interact with our students. Providing mental health and mentoring services were up, and so we have made a big effort to make sure we're ending into a variety of activities. In an effort to increase their academics in language arts and math, we are providing specific tutoring for our students and our families, and so they're able to get free math tutoring as well as free English language arts tutoring. And in an effort to increase our graduation rate, we have put a variety of services in place. As I continue on, I thought it was important to make sure you heard the student voice. And so I have some students here that I wanted to introduce to you, as well as our counselor that we have identified at the district office. So if they can come on up. We have our district counselor that emphasizes and works with our foster youth, and that's Miss Vanessa Escutia. And we have 2 students, one from March Mountain High School, that's Sofia Moreno, and another student from Moreno Valley High School, and that's Ali Vera. So we thought it was important for you to hear from them and how we have supported them and helped them increase their academics. So I'll hand it over.
Hi, I'm Sofia Moreno. I'm a 10th grader at March Mountain High School, and I'm representing the voice of foster youth, and accompanying me is my sister, Ali.
Hi, I'm Ali Vera, and I am an 11th grader at Moreno Valley High School. And This year we had the privilege of going to the Youth Summit, and some of the highlights from the Youth Summit was the keynote speakers, specifically Jolanda Foster. She was a motivational speaker, and Opal Singleton, and she was a speaker on internet safety and human trafficking. And we also had the privilege of meeting the people from Cup of Happy, their Operation Safe House, which they talked about mental health and positivity. They made special arrangements for me to go with my sister. She didn't want to go alone, and I wanted to be there for her. And it was an experience for me as well. So they let me go on the same bus as her, and the school and administrators made special arrangements for that.
All right, some highlights from Youth Summit was the food. It was super tasty. The goodie bags were a good surprise at the end. The name badges were really cool. And the translators for Spanish speakers, which I thought it was cool that they tried to include the kids who couldn't understand. And I thought it was, a good experience that they got to try it out too.
Thank you. And then I wanted to acknowledge our parent, Ms. Vera. She also supports Moreno Valley High School with the APAC, and thank you for bringing the girls out today. And I think next
Dr.
we have...
Sheffield, before
Yes.
you get done, will you tell the board what you just received in your department?
Student Services was very excited to receive a grant for $1.5 million.
You say it again, Mr. Johnson wasn't. Okay.
The Student Services Department collaborated together, and we received a 3-year grant worth $1.5 million. And that will help us support our students academically, attendance-wise, and making sure they're successful and have a positive school climate and culture. And next, we have our Director of Student Safety.
Good afternoon. So I want to give you a department update on what we're doing to make sure we're meeting the needs of the district's LCAP Goal 3, safe climate at school. So I want to kind of highlight on some of the things we're doing. Not all the things we're doing, but I want to highlight a few of those things we're doing. So we changed the uniform of our campus security officers so they can be readily identifiable on campus. So it identifies their authority on campus. And it's a beacon for kids to seek out help. If they need help, they can seek out these folks in uniform to assist them whatever their needs are. We currently have a district patrol officer position we're filling right now, and a bike patrol at our campuses to be able to respond to or assist school sites when they're in need of assistance. So, and secondly, we are providing our nurses and health aides with a emergency trauma kit to deal with injuries and things of that nature that goes above and beyond first aid and CPR. And lastly, we're yearly on a yearly basis improving our skill set by sending our folks to training constantly throughout the year to enhance their skill set. And I want to end by introducing Dwight Taylor, our campus security officer assigned to Badger Springs High School, to kind of speak to the new program we implemented here at Moreno Valley Unified School
Daryl, before you get done, will you do me a favor?
Yes.
Will you tell the board what you did this morning with the principals? And just because they went to those town hall meetings, and I think it's important to update them on what we did since those town hall meetings. Do you just real quickly?
Okay. Today at the principals meeting, we kind of covered lockdown and lockout drills and the student reunification plan, because we wanted to make sure that we emphasize to the principals how important those two things are to make sure that we're keeping kids safe, staff members safe, and communicating with our parents that their children are safe when they send them to school. So we really hit home today about lockout, lockdown, and the student reunification plan that we have in place at every single school site. Dwight?
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Thank you all for your attention and opportunity to speak before you this evening. I just came to mention security briefly. As you can see, we have new uniforms, and I don't know if you can see the pants, black, nice shirt. And part of doing better is looking better, in my opinion. So I just, I thank you for your investment in the uniforms. Also, I thank you for your investment in our training. When I first started here, we were given a radio and told go to work. We had no real protocols on how to break up fights, how to deal with the things that happen on campus. And now we are officially trained and capable to handle those things. But as I always tell students, is we're not here to police you or keep you caged up or get you in trouble. We're here to make sure you are safe, primarily from outside entities and forces. But occasionally, as you all know, we have to do it to them from each other. But we're here to just make sure that our kids are safe, that our parents know we're here to support them, that our teachers, our administrators know we're here to support them, make sure that our campus are safe, make sure that the rules and protocols are followed, and to be a support in any way that we really can, and to talk to our kids, encourage our kids, because really it's about them. And then I'll end with this, is I heard a story about security, and they said when you do security really well, the tendency is to think you don't need it. Because when there's been no vandalism, nobody's breaking into cars, nothing's coming up missing, we don't need it. Until you need it. And then you realize, oh man, we needed it. And so in light of recent events, we know that things happen very quickly. Some of our students and parents can get out of hand really quick. And then that's when you show that the training you guys invested in us in, that Mr. Scott invested in us, it pays off. And I thank you for your opportunity. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Thank you for your informative presentation this morning as well. Our final goal, Goal 4, is that parents, community members, and labor groups in partnership with staff support student academic goals and career aspirations. Some of the services and supports for students under Goal 4 include the UCAN College Fair for historical Black colleges and universities, expanded CTE grants, our Unity Conference, Music Changing Lives, our Parent Ambassadors System, a grant writer to support us in writing those grants, like the one that Lynn Sheffield and her department just was awarded. Parent engagement and outreach. We have this year, we're so grateful to have an African American parent involvement specialist, our Safe Routes to School program, Innovative Ed consultation program, the Leadership Summit, one of our premier events of the year, our Leadership Summit, the induction program that Dr. Buster operates, and also expanded regular transportation. I would like to highlight one of the things that we're doing now is our equity walks and our equity institutes, and I'd like to introduce Principal Enaro Garcia and his team. They are in the second year of the Equity Institute doing equity walks this year, and they are going to come up and share some highlights from their program. Mr. Garcia. Thank you for being here tonight.
Good afternoon, everyone, to our esteemed board. Thank you for the opportunity for letting us speak today. Dr. Kedziora, our cabinet, our union presidents, association presidents, and everyone else still here. Thank you. So, as I was introduced, thank you, Lisa. I am Genaro Garcia, the very proud principal at Cloverdale Elementary, and I'm here with two of our fabulous teachers, Ms. Rachel Watts and Ms. Judy Richards. And we're here to talk to all of you about the equity team for the next 30 minutes or so. Okay, I take it by your laugh. I don't have that long, but I also would like to take a quick moment to just commend the Professional Development Department. I do think they're awesome. They do a great job. And no offense, Brian, but your better half, in my opinion, the best PD specialist, Kristen Bates. So last year, Dr. Kedziora approached myself and 9 other principals, I believe, for the first cohort of equity walks. And it was a great opportunity. We're very thankful to have that honor. And didn't know exactly what to expect, so we had a series of trainings. And from that very first day, it basically started with us being engaged in an uncomfortable conversation. So that set the tone, for what continued to be a series of just being very open and being very honest. That, though, has only even gotten better this year, where we had the opportunity to visit other sites from our cohort and had these discussions about what we see at the schools, what's going on in our schools, and what changes we're working on since then. It's really had us talk about and analyze, even the minute things that we do, all the way down to the very core of our mission and our vision. So I don't want to do all the talking here, so I would like to have Ms. Richards and Ms. Watts, if they can, share more about our experience.
Hi, I'm Judy Richards. I teach first grade at Cloverdale, and we're missing 2 of our team members, another classroom teacher, and our school counselor, who are just amazing individuals and part of this team. So last year, we did go through our training, 5 days spread throughout the year, so that we could each time kind of digest what we had learned and look at where we can implement some changes. And so I just have to say it was broader, like Mr. Garcia just shared. It was so much more than we expected. It was much broader and it was much deeper, personally, and looking at our school year, from the entire school year to events that happen throughout the year, to programs that we're using, to what goes on in the individual classroom. You should do it if you haven't done it yet, if they bring it again. I lost my train of thought. Brian? No, not going to bail me out. So it's just, I could come up with a quote. We'll just make one up. Sorry. But anyway, it was an excellent training. We thank you so much for that training. And then this year we were broken into 2 cohorts of 5 schools. And we went from school to school visiting, finding what they've done. We would get great ideas, come back and say, well, what do we want to do with that idea? How do we want to implement and going forward? Because we're in it for the long haul. This isn't happening overnight. This is just rolling out. We're just starting. And we have made some great changes so far. And we have challenged ourselves, and we're challenging our staff. And that's another some of our next steps is to really help the rest of the staff really understand what equity looks like in education, because it's not just diversity. It's like I said, it's very broad and it's very deep and it's very challenging, and we want to provide that to our students. Ms. Watts?
I would just say really briefly that 2 huge benefits of participating in this program. One is when we have gone into the site visits, it's fabulous. I cannot overemphasize how wonderful it is for a teacher at one level. Like, I've always been in elementary school, and to get to visit a high school and middle schools and other elementary schools and see how they're solving the same problems or different problems, really great. So that opportunity has been wonderful. And then the depth of conversation that we've been having at our school site, on the site leadership team, on our equity team, I feel like it's really moving us in the right direction.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Let's give them another round of applause. That was really good. This was the last program that we are highlighting. I see Dr. Kedzio making his way to the front.
Thank you, Lisa Broomfield. You're so welcome. So I want the Board of Education to know you've heard from a variety of stakeholders tonight, and about the 8 priorities of the LCAP and different programs that we've implemented. And so one of the things that all these people represent in here is what's possible when everyone works together. Now I'm going to show you a video clip, Dr. Locke, and I want you to see it, because I want you to know that every student in our district possesses something. And sometimes we don't see it because sometimes we don't see them just like everybody else sees them or somebody else sees them. So students come in a variety of ways. You know, we have homeless students, we have foster youth, we have English learners, we have, you know, these principals and these teachers, they work with all kinds of students that come into their classrooms, and they're daunted by some of their struggles. I was just trying to get your attention, that's all. You're not special or anything, okay. Okay. So I don't know how many of you have seen the movie The Upside. Have any of you seen it? Okay. Nobody else has seen it? Okay. Well, it's a movie about two people that are highly unlikely to meet. And one guy's a rich guy and the other guy's a convict. And he goes to work for the rich guy taking care of him. He becomes his in-home provider. He's very different. All the people that, when he hired him, they thought he was crazy because he hired him. But he saw something in him. And that's what I want to leave you with tonight is the potential that we see. We don't see initially, but we arrive to. And every one of these children, 33,000, have potential. And all of the adults that work in the system are there to get them to see their potential. So this is just a metaphor, a simile. I hope it's better than the principals meeting today, but you know what I showed. But there you go.
All right, y'all ready? I give you Untitled number 0, or what is bravery?
Where's the Twombly?
You talking about the one that had the red squiggly lines on it?
Yes.
I took it down, I put it in the kitchen, right next to the recycle bin.
Uh-huh.
What do you think? Come on.
Well, I'm not saying I'd hang it, but there's something very passionate.
Almost postmodern. I like the dog. It's unexpected. And I say that with admiration.
Who knows, man? I might be the next bot squad. Life is crazy.
Shall I go find the Twombly? You can't be serious.
Well, it may not be your cup of tea or mine.
Or even in the T family.
The important thing is to see and encourage potential. Don't you see potential here?
We have so much potential. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Katsura, and thank you to all of you who were here and presented or just were here to witness all these great programs and great activities that are taking place in our district. There's no doubt about, in my mind, we're extremely proud of what is happening here, and we're very thankful. And I'm speaking on behalf of my colleagues here too. And of course, you're welcome to make comments, but I just want to say it's amazing all the work that is taking place here. And when we think about, when we have conversations with other people in other districts, in other areas, in other parts of the state, and even with other states, it's just amazing how we are way ahead of what is happening in other places. And that turns into a great benefit for our students, because our students have a lot of benefit and to that, so that we can together work on exploring their talents and their potential and helping them be successful. So I want to say thank you for everything that has been done. Thank you for the collaboration between all the administrators, the teachers, the classified employees, managers, the employee groups. It's just an amazing district. So I want to say thank you to the cabinet member, superintendent, and everybody who is involved in the process. So just briefly want to ask, do you have any comments for members?
I do. Definitely as a district, I feel we are doing a lot. And as we said, it's important to look at what's working and what's not working, especially if we get a decrease in funding. And as a former educator and longtime educator, I'm old, I do have a special interest in the curriculum and instruction. The curriculum is important in knowing the what and ensure that we have no gaps, why the curriculum calibration is important. And the instruction is important in giving our teachers the tools and the support they need to be effective. So I think we're on a right path, and we just continue doing what we're doing and fine-tuning and focusing. Thank you.
I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who came here tonight, and thank you also not just for coming, but for all the great things that you're doing for your students. I know we heard for quite a while about professional development. I think when we help our teachers to be better, we're helping our students to be better. So that translates not just to helping teachers to develop into better teachers, but helping our students to do better. So thank you for coming and for that presentation, and thank you to all of you, especially again to Daryl Scott, who's helping to keep our students safe, and to all the students that came and said something tonight. Sometimes it's hard to get up in front of a group of adults and talk, and I appreciate the effort that they made to come here and to be here tonight, so thank you. I'm out of air now. Go ahead.
Thanks everybody for being here, and thank you all for staying for so long. I'm surprised, but I'm glad you did, because a lot was said tonight, and it's really something to know that you work in the district whereby you have a lot to do with the accomplishments that we saw on the screen. I along with Dr. Ketzior and Jesus Ogin, my colleague, and I think Marcia, I'm not sure who else went, but the point I'm going to bring out here is, and this goes in line with what happened tonight as well. We were at the county office last week, and I don't get upset too often, but that night I got upset. I didn't show it, but I was upset. I was upset because we use African-American black people as a volleyball. I didn't like that. I really didn't like that.
We don't.
Well, yeah, not us. I was trying to include everybody when I said the we. I could point the fingers at who, but I didn't want to do it like that. But I really didn't like that because I sat there and I thought about the accomplishments that has been made in the last 8 years. It's probably longer than that, but I do know in the last 8 years, a lot has changed. And what you saw tonight was a lot of it right there tonight. So what I did was I wrote down 2 names. I wish some of the people who were at that meeting last week could have been here tonight. Rashad Ruff, 4.1 or 4.7? 4.7. And both these boys are athletes. And you know what we normally say? Well, if you're good at football, we're going to have you play football. But we'll take care of your grades for you. We'll give you the C so you can pass. But you had 2 athletes tonight. And look at their GPAs. And I'm not going to go back and read everything I have on here. But yeah, he said thank you. But this is serious to me. This is serious to me. I don't mind joking a lot of the times, but I don't like to joke about this one because, as I said, opening, I'm getting tired of hearing about the black guys, the black kids, y'all ain't doing it. We're doing a lot here in Moreno Valley. And it's time that we start telling people that. We cannot wait and let them just see or hear about what we're doing. We need to be telling them. And then we need to also tell them, too, that we have a great superintendent. This man, maybe it's a good thing that he didn't go back to the mic because who knows what would have come out of his mouth. Because sometimes after 7 o'clock, y'all haven't been with him, but after 7 o'clock, he might just use the full, he just might use that. But here's my whole point in saying that. Sometimes when you hear things negative to what you have been doing, it can get under your skin. So I understand how he feels. I try to keep my own mouth shut when we were talking after the whole meeting was over because I didn't want to, be the angry black man. But I was angry. When I got in my car, you don't know what I said. I can just tell you I said a lot of different things. But my whole point, again, is we are doing a fantastic job. When I say we, I'm talking about the entire district. You saw how proud the teachers were when they presented their students, not just their students. They're very proud. You saw a lady and a gentleman come up to the mic, and they were like patting each other on the back because they're teammates. She was saying he was the one, and he was saying she was the one. When you see things like that, they can't help but do a great job for all of our students, and especially for those that they know are on the bottom rung. And so bottom line is I am very, very proud of what we've been doing. I like to call this right now, use a football metaphor, we're in the locker room at halftime, but we up by 14 points. That doesn't mean we're gonna win the game. It just means that we're up. So if you think, I don't know if you've been in the locker room or not, if you think the coach is gonna walk around and pat everybody on the back, great job guys, great, that's not what he's going to do. He may give you a pat, but he's also telling you what we've got to do to maintain this and to continue and to win. So my point in saying that is, it's the same thing that's happening with our district. The teachers and the principals and everyone, it's halftime. And they showed us what's happening right now at halftime. But you didn't hear them say anything about, okay, we got this game won. No, we don't. We still have a long way to go because there's still a lot of kids that really needs our help and our support. Kids love their teachers. They love everybody who's teaching them. We know now how to break that ice to get to the parents as well as the students. And I'm very proud to be a part of this unit, and I don't mind telling you guys that. And so thank you, Dr. Ketziora. Thank the board for making sure that we let him know how we feel. Thank all of our partners, every last one, because we could not have done this. Don't think that we can just sit behind and just crack. No, everybody has to buy in. And I appreciate everything that all of us are doing with all of our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Yes, Mr.
Hello, everyone. I'm Harold Acord. This is my 32nd year teaching here in Moreno Valley. Before that, I was a teacher in Flint, Michigan, of bilingual migrant workers' children. And it was very moving today to see our students excelling and to see kids who could speak Spanish. I know Lilia saw me, I was crying. I couldn't help it, because that's my heart. And I've been really involved with bilingual education my entire life as an adult. So it's just been so moving that we're able to work together. And one thing that I made sure that Dr. White knew and Dr. Ketziora knew, that if we're going to be here on this podium, the associations are going to speak too, and we're going to speak up and share what we think and what we believe. And we're happy that we're able to work with the district that works with us in doing things around the LCAP. We worked very hard as a teachers union in order for the LCAP to even exist, for the local control funding formula to exist, to where we would have the funds that we've had in order to do the things that we've been able to do. Our members are really clear after I became president that they didn't want us always like this with the district. They wanted us working together every time that we can. One of the biggest things that our members said is they wanted training, and we were able to work with the district to have all of our wonderful professional development specialists. That happened because our members said they needed that. And we were able to work together with the district in order to make sure that happens. And we're able to listen to the community. I'm happy to see this district becoming sort of like the district I grew up in, where we all, even though we were in dirt poor circumstances and happened to be from a mixed race family where my brother was African American. And to see what we're doing is wonderful. And I hope people understand that. Some people come here at the beginning, they make their comments, and they hit the road, as happened today. I didn't stay here to see all the wonderful things that are going on. And we just need to be the voice out there, every one of us, all of us, brothers and sister educators, to make sure that people are hearing the positive things that are going on. We may have our fights, we may have our differences, but what we have together is that every one of us is here because we wanted to be an educator and be involved with education. I didn't think when I came here in 1987 that I was ever going to be a president of an association. And in a year and a half, when I go back to the classroom, I'm going to be excited to do that again. And it really moved me what you had to say, Mr. Johnson. This, you know, we hear that too much. People go around this community too much. And it is a serious thing. And it's not something to joke about. And I appreciate your words because I've lived it in my life. I've seen it in my family. And I appreciate the fact that you're there and you're standing up for what you believe in and you're saying those things. Thank you.
Ms. Neal, would you like to say something? Okay, so once again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for all the collaboration. And I wish that a lot of community members were here tonight to hear and to listen to and to witness what happened here tonight. But like Mr. Eckhart said, we have to be the voice out there, and we have to continue talking to the community as to what is happening in our district, what is being done for our students, and great things are happening. So thank you all for what you do, and let's continue working together to make this the best district in the state. Thank you so much. The meeting is adjourned.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But you know, the union speaks. That's cold.